So if we're going to talk about the craziest moment from last night's episode, it was Robyn coming over to see Meri. And it's funny because it's the pattern that Robyn has always had, but she's not even trying this time. So Meri had specifically gone over and asked, Robyn, will you help me move? She asked the kids, will you guys help me move? She asked Cody, will you help me move? Kind of shocking that Cody showed up. But Robyn says, I was hoping I could come over and help Meri, but I just didn't want to. That's my interpretation of what she said. What she actually said was something along the lines of, but if I did, then every cell in my body would be telling me not to. And you're like, that's not an excuse anywhere. That's not an excuse. She's always had excuses. She had to be home with the kids. The kids were sick. She was sick. She was pregnant. She was tired. She got out of therapy, family hikes, going to see Hunter sing. There's always some excuse why she didn't have to do family stuff. And she's not even really trying anymore because she's like, I just didn't want to. You're like, oh, well then, then of course you didn't do it. So then she grabs Meri. Meri's moving out and Robyn grabs her, drags her inside and starts crying. Bless Meri in that she's just kind of like, yeah, I got a lot to do. And she's a little bit like, yeah, I don't want to get too emotional. This is a big day for me. And she mentions I'm emotional with people I can trust. Maybe not in that exact wording, but I think that's pretty darn close. So Robyn gets her gift, opens it for Meri, describes it as a junk journal, which I was like, what? I couldn't tell if it's a blank journal meant for Meri to fill out or if it's full of stuff. I couldn't tell because we didn't see inside of it. We didn't see any of that. And then Robyn goes, I like to write down my hopes and dreams. And I was kind of a little bit like, it's just so interesting to me that she's not like, I know that Meri is really driven. Meri always is, she's really into these inspirational quotes, the worthy up thing now, but she's always sort of been like, I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to do this. So I thought it was kind of interesting that Robyn didn't even phrase it in the turn of view of like, this is something I think Meri would like. But whatever. But then she's all sobby, I'm so sad. And how many times of this season have we said, Meri, did you go and visit Meri between the time she said she was leaving and now? Did you visit her between Christmas and when she came to visit? Did you visit between Christmas and the previous Christmas? Like the whole facade. And this is what I kind of think, which is Robyn and Cody both have had this thing where they've done such a crappy job for years and it's always worked for them. That's how people learn. They do something, it works, they do it again. A bird goes to a certain place, finds nuts, it's more likely to return there and look for nuts again. Robyn and Cody are nuts. No, I'm just kidding. No, Robyn and Cody have figured out that Robyn's figured out if she cries and looks sad and gets all the attention on her, she doesn't have to be accountable for the things that she's done wrong. And it's worked for years and years and years. Sure, the family broke up, but she got what she wanted for years and years and years. And it's going to be interesting to see once the only person she can pull this act on is Cody, is it going to work? Because Cody's got his own mess of things that he does. He gives half-hearted apologies. Apparently he cries a little, and it seems to work for him that he is not, either he feels better or people believe him or what. I don't know. I'd be really interested. I think it's really interesting when they go back to the wives and the wives say things like, oh yeah, Cody does that all the time. He's always done this. And it's like, oh, interesting. So this is like it's kind of the way that the dog begs at the table because you give him food. Our dogs don't beg at the table because we've never given him food from the table. But if I'm cutting up an apple, they will come running because I always give them a little slice of apple. So they know here it works, there it doesn't. And so all of that. So it was such a pathetic scene because it was like, here's Meri, deeply uncomfortable. It's the weirdest scene I've did. Cody's talking all about, I'm going to do a whole video on that, how all of a sudden she's the wife I would have loved to be married to all these years. And I thought, Meri has not changed, buddy. That is the same woman we've seen on TV for 19 years. Like her or dislike her. There was nothing intrinsically special about this day. It was just that Cody no longer had this, I guess, burden of having to be married to her. And so all of a sudden he's like, oh, she's not so bad. And you're like, yeah, I know. That's who she's been for seasons and seasons. But anyway, getting back, Robyn's awful.